Welcome. I'm Patrick Phillips, and this is Bill Pitcher. We're here from Fallen Dominion Studios to introduce to you Fallen Land, a post-apocalyptic board game. Fallen Land takes place in the time after the final Great War, where the United States of America is but a mere shell of its former glory.
There are 10 factions, each with their own town. This forms the Council of 10 Towns. You are the leader of one of these factions, vying for supremacy over the other 9 factions. To achieve this agenda, you must gain 20 prestige, which is your reputation, how well known you are. Or you can gain 80 town health, which is your population, but also how prosperous your citizens are.
To improve their town, each faction sends a party of 5 characters out into the Fallen Land to build prestige, explore the wastes, discover forgotten technologies, scavenge for salvage, and secure resources.
To set up Fallen Land, we place the board in the middle of the table, we place a turn marker on begin, and then we place the 7 mission tokens on the board. To do this, we roll 2 10-sided dice for each location. I've placed the first 6 already. I'm going to place the 7th one now. 0, 0. So that is 100. It's placed right over there in the corner. Then I shuffle the decks. It's my spoils deck, which is going to represent equipment. My action deck, which is going to change the flow of the game. My character deck, your characters will be part of your party. Your plains encounter, your mountain encounter, your city radiation encounter, and your mission cards. Once I've shuffled all the decks and put them on the board, I reveal the top card and make it the discard pile of each deck. Then I place my town technologies at the top of the board, my town defense chips, my destroyed markers, my weak penalties, 1 week, 2 week, my special missions, my points of interest, my dice, so they're readily available, my salvage coin in denominations of 1, 3, 5, and 10, my damage markers, which are 3 on one side, 1 on the other, my rule book, my psych damage tokens, my infected wounds token and radiation damage, and then I have 7 mercenaries, known as NPCMs. Now I have 10 town placemats that we'll roll for next. So now that my town is set up, I can roll for my faction. So I rolled an 8, and I got the Brotherhood. Immediately I get the faction chips for the Brotherhood, their party marker, 10 salvage coin, and I'm going to start placing my chips right away. So I'm going to place the first one on Prestige 1. Second one is going to go on my town along with my party marker. And the third one is going to go on Town Health 30. Now I'm going to go through my town technologies. I get my first town technology is energy production, which gives me 1 additional success for technical skill checks. The other one is water and supplies. It gives me 1 success for survival. Now going down my faction perks, I begin the game with Vendetta Daggers, that is Blood Cult. So I've already gone and grabbed the Vendetta Daggers, which is marked with the Brotherhood symbol, and I've already equipped them to my character. Next perk I have is Wasteland Scavengers. So each town business phase, I get to roll 1d6 and get that much salvage coin. So I'm getting more coin as I go each turn. That's really handy. Next, down with sickness. When an opponent plays a negative action card on one of my characters or my party, I get to roll 1d6. And on a 1, each party character sustains 1 radiation damage. So I can punish them for trying to hurt my characters. And finally, I have survival instincts. Your party gives or ignores all negative effects from environmental hazards and counter cards. So if I run into an environmental hazard and I fail, I don't take any consequences. Next, I draw 6 character cards. I go through, I select 5 of them, and I put the last one in the town roster. This will be available to me if one of my characters dies. I can pass through town and pick up that character, add it to my party, and just keep going. Then I drew 10 spoil cards. Now, because I already started the daggers, I have now 11 spoil cards. So I've arranged my characters. My first character, Patrick Phillips, is on red. He's the first character crown. So he has the daggers. He has a link to knife. And since the dagger's the knife, I get +2 combat and +3 survival. Next, I gave him an ally. An ally just allows him to carry more additional capacity. So he starts with carrying capacity of 15, the daggers only cost 2, and Fang gives me +2, so actually I still have a carrying capacity of 15. Next, Dimitri, the cleaner. He has a link to handguns, and each one grants is cumulative. Normally, I'd only get 1 bonus for a link. Dimitri is special though, he gives me a cumulative, so I get a bonus for both handguns I have, so I get +4 combat and +1 survival. +2 survival, pardon me. Next, Vera Juarez. She's a master. Now masters get 1 additional success automatically for a given skill check. Her specialty is technical. So when she has a technical skill check, she gets 1 additional success, and her link is technical equipment. I don't have any, so I gave her a submachine gun to kind of help with her combat at least, because her combat's pretty low. Next, Ivory Pace. She has a link to medical equipment. I gave her Ivory the combat satchel. Now the bonus she gets is she doubles all the skill checks on that combat satchel. So she gets +4 instead of +2 for diplomacy, and +7 instead of +4, or +14 instead of +7 for her medical check. Next, I have Chance Perry. He has a link to melee weapons, so I gave him the heavy-duty flashlight. It's a melee weapon, so he just gets +2 combat. So his combat's now 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I have 2 vehicles, so I can only select 1 of them. So I went with the classic All-American. It's a little bit faster, giving me +4 movement bonus as opposed to +2 from the chopper. And normally you cannot equip spoil cards to vehicles, but in this case, this one says stowable, which means I can stow it in the trunk of my vehicle without a problem. And then next, I have my party equipment here. I was dealt a party equipment card, which means that it affects all the characters except for my vehicle. Then it gives all my characters +2 combat and +1 survival, but each one has to have a carrying capacity too. If one of them doesn't have the carrying capacity to carry it, all 5 have to go into my auction house. Now that I have everything situated here, all my spoils, all my characters, I'm going to count up what my movement bonus is. So I look at all my characters looking for movement bonus, and just my vehicle gives me 4 movement bonus. So I put my township there right above my movement check, movement bonus, which gives me movement bonus of 4. So now we both have our factions set up. We're ready to start the game. I'm going to be player 1, so the first player, so I have the first player sheet. First, the effects phase. So anything that resolves through the effects phase will resolve now. Do you have anything that resolves to the effects phase?
I don't believe that I do.
I don't either. So, moving down, town business. First, I deal 1 action card to each player. So 1 for you, and 1 for me. Take a quick gander. Okay. So, next, resource production. Neither of us have resources, so no resource production. Next, the auction house. I have the American Iron Custom Choppers. And
I have nothing.
You have nothing, and you probably don't want my chopper.
No, I've got the Humvees, so I'm good. I've got a vehicle. I'm set.
Right. So we'll move down to the town events chart. So both of us roll D10. I rolled a 9.
I rolled a 2.
Okay, I'm going to do you first.
All right.
You got 1 prestige.
2 town health.
And 2 town health. I rolled a 9, which means I lose 1 prestige. Now I can't drop below 1, so I stay at 1. And I lose 2 town health, and I can go down to 28. So, next, we have financial phase. So sell. we can sell spoils, action cards, town technologies, tower defenses. I'm going to sell my American chopper right away for 13. 5, 5, 3.
Hand me 10 spoils, or 10 salvage coins. I forgot to deal those out when we did this.
Oh, there you go.
Alrighty. Being that it's the town business phase and I'm a coalition of the Black Angel, one of my faction perks is that I am a information crossroads. Once per turn during the town business phase, I may pay 5 salvage coins to draw 1 action card. I'm going to do that now.
Okay.
Hand me an action card, please.
1 additional action card. Now, since I'm the Brotherhood, I have Wasteland Scavengers. Each town business phase, I get to roll 1d6 and get that much salvage coin. 5. Nice.
Nicely done.
So I have 28 currently. I'm going to sell. Let's see, so I have 28. I'm going to sell Cooperative Spirit. That'll give me 6 additional salvage coin. Okay.
We're going to also sell Uncooperative Spirit to gain 6 additional.
2 3s for you, sir.
Alrighty.
Cool. Now we have the purchase phase. So you can purchase Tier 1 town technologies, or upgrade, or buy some town defense chips. So I have 10, 20, 30. So I am going to buy myself a town technology. And I am going to buy a garrison. Now when I buy the garrison, I get 5 town health.
Gotcha.
And I get 1 prestige. Since that wasn't negative, I'm up there equal with you now.
Awesome.
Excellent. So, that's what I'm going to buy.
Alrighty. What's next?
Okay. Do you have any mercenaries or NPCMs to purchase?
No, I do not.
Okay.
You?
Nope. Nothing to buy for me. I just spent all my money on a garrison.
The thing with mercenaries, the reason why I ask if he has any is that when you hire a mercenary, you need to announce it to everyone else that's playing, and you need to announce what their mission is. So that's one rule that we have in there with mercenaries. That's why I asked if he was hiring one as well.
I just lose my opportunity to hire one when we go into the party exploit phase. So, party exploit phase starts with NPCMs, or mercenaries, and they're not on the board, so we don't have to worry about them. We go right into the party exploits themselves. So I'm going to spend my first deed. So I get 4 weeks to spend. I'm going to spend the first one moving. So I'm going to roll a 1d6 to move. I get a 1. Awesome. I have a movement bonus of 4, so I can move 5. So I'm going to move on a really sticky look here. So I'm going to move 3 because of the radiation hex. 1. So I have 4, so I have 1 left. With that 1 extra one, I can push myself into this mountain hex. So even though I have 1 movement left, I can spend all the rest of my movement to move into that last hex. So that takes me into a mountain. So I spent 1 week so far. My next one I'm going to spend doing an encounter. I'm going to do the mountain encounter. So, it's not going to be fun. All right, the mutant mountain lion. It's a wild animals encounter. Navigating the treacherous rocky trail, you are startled by a tremendous roar echoing through the mountains. As you peer cautiously around the side of the cliff, a giant mountain lion snarls as it pounces onto the back of your point man from above. Latching its razor claws into their flesh, the force drives them both over the side. Rushing to the edge, you see the cat furiously mauling its prey on a small ledge below. So I'm guessing that's why character crown 1 is the red shirt, huh? Awesome. So, first I get 4 salvage coin, kind of found on the way as we were wandering through. Next, character crown 1 has to perform a solo skill check. So I need 1 survival and 1 combat. So I'm looking at my survival. My survival skill is 7, 11, 13, plus my machete is 14. And so I have plus 3 because I have a knife, so I'm sitting at 17. So I'm going to roll only for him. I got 2. That, obviously, less than 17. So I get 1 success automatically, and that gives me 2 successes. I only need 1 for survival. So I'm going to go on to the next one, which is combat. So I have to get 8, 12, 15, 16, 17, 19. So I just have to not roll 0. 2. Phenomenal. So I succeed this, so I can read the success portion. Character crown 1 takes 1d6 damage. Oh, that's not cool. Then gain 2 spoil cards. Oh, that's good. Your friend manages to kill the man-eater, but is hurt in the fall. They discover the beast's lair down below. Inside are tattered scraps of old clothing, gnawed skeletal remains, and some worn gear. Okay, so I get to draw 2 spoil cards. 1, 2. So I have a supercharger for my car. Awesome. So I'm going to tack that on right away, which is going to give me +1 movement bonus. So I'm going to ratchet my movement bonus, and I have a movement bonus of 5. And I have a rifle. Who needs a rifle? I'm going to give it to... So he has 6, 7. He's taking me to 9. 9's a great number to be at, so that's what I'm going to do. Go give him the small bore rifle. So I succeed my mountain card. I have 2 weeks left. I'm going to spend it moving again. Now I have movement of 5. 7. Okay. So I'm going to take 2, 4. Each mountain takes 2 to move through. I can go into there, or I'm going to go around. So plane, 5, 6, and move right onto that resource. So I have 1 week left. Resource deeds take 2 weeks. So I'm going to take 1 week penalty.
There you go.
Awesome. So I'm going to take a week penalty for next month, and I'm going to attempt this resource. Now, since the resource, I can try any of them. How ambitious do I feel? I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to try that City Rad. Waterworks. Squatting atop a dust-choked high-rise. For better radio reception, you stare in disbelief as the receiver tasks you to find the city's municipal waterworks. Rolling your eyes, you slam the receiver down. All they could tell you is it's located somewhere within the miserable, decaying metropolis. After a week-long search, you finally spot a broken circular building overgrown with vines ahead. Ransack the offices first and find the engineering schematics. It will lay the foundation for increasing your town's water supply. So, immediately I get, again, 4 salvage coin. That's what I found along the way again. And I get to try a technical skill check. So, now... Ooh, awesome. So now I have 2, 4, 6. So I have my 6 dice. 1 for each character crown. So I'm going to pair up each one. And then I'm just going right down the line. So I need 4 technical. I immediately get 1 because I have energy production, so I only need 3 technical. So I have a 5 technical here, so I don't make this one. I have a 5 here, got an 8, don't make that one. My master has a 10. I'll make it 1 success, so I have 1, 2 successes here, so I just turn the dice sideways just so I know that I have 2 successes there. Here I have a technical of 8. That's not going to cut it. Here I have a technical of 6, 7, so that will, so I'll just keep it straight up. And my car has a technical 3. I got a 3. It's a push, so I actually get it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I needed 4. So I succeed the first one. Now we're going to the medical check. Let's see if I can get that. So, pair my crowns here. So, first, Pat has 7 medical. I rolled an 8. That's not going to work out very well for me. Next, Dimitri. He has a 5. He got a 5, so he gets 1 success. I have a 6. She rolled 3. Under 6. Excellent. I get a success there. I have a medical of 8 plus 14 is 22. So that means that I automatically get 2 successes there. And a third one. So I got 22. So 2 for being over 10 twice. So I get 2 successes. And I get a third success because I got 1. And now I can re-roll for another success there. But I already have 3, 4, 5. I only need 3 successes here. I don't even need to re-roll it, so I'm going to leave it as is. I'm sorry. The wrong one. So that was a 7, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 8, 15, 22. So I only got 2 successes there. But it still gives me 4, so I still succeed. Next, I have Poor Chance doesn't make his. My vehicle has 1. I rolled a 1, so I get him. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only need 3, so I read the success. First, I get 3 town health. So move my character up. 1.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, sorry. Good point. Grabbing the right one. And draw 2 spoil cards. So I have another stowable equipment. The trunk of unlimited disguises. Let's see. I have carrying capacity of 10 with my vehicle, and I have 8 from the ultimate tools. So I can't equip this to my poor vehicle. So who wants to carry the unlimited disguises for 1 diplomacy? I think that's probably the best on Dimitri. My next one is a high-powered flashlight. That is going to grant additional mechanical and survival. I'm going to throw him on Vera. So, my success. You locate the schematics in a dusty, overturned file cabinet. You also discover a few other interesting items. Excellent. Now, I get a resource. Getting a resource gives me 1 prestige. I take my token here, and I put it right underneath, indicating that's my resource. And I'm going to put 1 resource right there, indicating that when it comes to the town business phase, I'm going to get an additional town health and additional salvage coin. So that is the end of my turn. So I'll pass the dice. Yep.
So it's my turn to partake in the town business phase. Within the party exploits phase. So first I'm going to roll my dice for movement. 4. I have a bonus movement of 2 for my armored Humvees. So I have a total of 6 that I can move.
But unlike me, you don't have to worry about the terrain because you're Hummer.
Yeah, the Humvee allows me to ignore terrain.
So you move a crazy amount.
Even though I can ignore terrain, I think for the purposes of this, I'm just going to go to one of the nearer resource locations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. And so what happens to your last movement?
Last movement? Don't worry about it. You can use some or all of your movement. You don't have to use it all.
Okay.
And give me a planes card, please, James.
There you go.
Alrighty. Gruesome Cannibal Carnival is the card I have drawn. Ahead lies a large encampment of gaudy patchwork tents. Dark, rolling smoke emanates from a gaping rip in the faded big top. The stench of charred and rotting flesh assaults your nostrils as you carefully approach the rear of the canvas structure. You quietly nudge open a flap with a gun barrel. Bile rises in your throat at the sight of the heinous atrocities within. Piles of human body parts and gnawed bones lay strewn across the ground. A blood-spattered man looks up from his gory meal to cry out for help. An angry mob of eaters respond, surging in from all directions. Lock and load, let's eradicate these cannibalistic vermin. So, the story part of it. For the beginning of it, I get 5 salvage coins. Hand me those, please.
There you go.
And then I need to make a skill check. The skill check is a 7 combat, which is uncharacteristically high for something coming out of the plains, but there are a couple of cards in there that do that to you. So we're going to roll these and see what we come up with.
Good.
It's looking good. It's looking real good. So, Mac Luther here. He has a 17, gets an 18 because the grenades are a linked heavy weapon. So he needed to roll anything but a 0. Rolling under the 8 of the 18 gives him 1 success, and the 10 gives him another one. So he has 2 successes. Dylan McKenzie, he has a total combat of 9. He rolled a 3. He's got a success. Sensei Tonaka. Sensei Tonaka has a link to a melee weapon, the katana, so he gets an additional 3 on here. So he has a total combat of 17. He rolled a 1, so he gets 2 successes.
And he's a master.
And he's a master, so he gains an additional 1 success.
Awesome.
Nina Saxon, our caddy veterinarian. She has a total combat of 9. She rolled a 7. She gets a success. Sean Cahill has a total combat of 17. And he rolled a 7, so he would get 2 successes. And then our Humvee has a combat of 9. Rolled a 1 for it. That's another success. We got 10 successes. We only needed 7, so we passed the card. Success. Gain 3 spoils and 1 action card.
1, 2, 3. There you go.
Thank you. And so for these, I have gotten a ram plate, which I am going to attach to my Humvee. It lowers my movement by 1, but gives me a higher combat. I have a high-tech utility belt, which counts as a backpack. So I am going to put that onto... We're going to put it on Dylan McKenzie. It gives him an additional 2 carrying capacity. And then I have a silencer kit, which I can attach to any gun. So I'm going to attach that to Nina Saxon's bolt rifle. Now then, the close quarters combat turns this carnal house into an abattoir. Afterwards, you retrieve a blood-spattered chest while searching through the gore. Then you torch the place. Now on here, we have 2 additional symbols. This one means that had I lost, not only would I take damage, I would take infected wounds damage. This indicates that I need to do a psych check yet, just from the horrors of what these characters saw. So we're going to do that right now. We don't roll 1 for the Humvee, and I'm pretty much guaranteed to take psychological damage on these. Alright, so Mac Luther, his psych stat is a 6, so I will take 1 psych damage for him since I rolled a 7, which is over 6. Dylan McKenzie has a psych stat of 4. He has pro fishing gear and tackle, which gives him a bonus to this check. So he has a total skill of 5. He rolled a 4. He does not take psych damage. Sensei Tonaka has a psych stat of 4. He rolled a 1. He does not take damage. Nina Saxon, she has a psych stat of 2. She rolled a 3. She will take 1 point of psychological damage. And Sean Cahill has a psych stat of 4. He rolled a 9. He will definitely take psychological damage. Now with psychological damage, each character can only take up to 3. Once they reach 3, they pretty much
Get discarded.
Yeah, in the story realms, they kind of lose their mind and run off with all their equipment. So if you ever get a character that is on 3 or near 3, you need to get them switched out with someone in your town roster right away.
I like this because it's like wandering off into the forest. It just kind of makes me smile for some reason.
Alright, so I am going to place a marker there, stating that I have a resource now.
I'll give you your prestige.
And I'll also place one here. Alright, so that was 1 week to move, 2 weeks to do a resource. I still have 1 week remaining. I think I will move again. And actually, even though I'm sitting on a resource, I could just do another encounter here. Right away without moving, which I think I'm actually going to do that right now.
Okay.
So, hand me a plane since I'm in the middle of the planes. We can discard that one. Space debris. World